Hey, Gino.
Hello,
Evening.
hello.
Hey.
Good evening once again. We are
Hello.
back. Hi June, how was your weekend? How's your weekend starting? Kumusta?
Ano ba?
Mukhang
Okay
excited ka sa
naman.
mga
I
guests
just came
natin.
back from... guess. Bakit guess kagad yung tina-target mo?
Si Fred lang,
But
cute eh.
anyway, okay. So, I just came back from my meeting. Galing ako sa Elias. So, yeah. Nag-meeting ako dun eh.
Meeting yan, meeting.
Meron
Alright,
akong tinur
alright. So
sa
welcome back,
Elias.
ladies and gentlemen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
Kumusta?
How is LS na?
Kumusta?
Puno?
How are
Kumusta?
you?
Kumusta crowd?
Well,
I'm
actually, I was
alright. I've been
there
having
at
a...
ano,
Go, go, go.
I
Ikaw muna,
arrived
sige.
there around 3 p.m. May mga tao na. Ang dami na, may like mga three sets of people, parang three tables na. Madami. Like, not bad for on a Saturday.
Oh, it's a
Tapos nung
weekend,
umalis
so
ako, there are other more people. Yeah,
it's good. It's good for LS. So weekend,
yun
people should
lang.
start early, finish early, or patagalan ba? Anyway, welcome, ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah,
to another Brew
yeah.
Sessions live. And as promised, we are our guest is well, as they say, one of the friendliest people, one of the most amiable person in the local craft industry. Medyo maliit lang daw yung brewery niya, kaya nagalit. So now
Oh, yan nga yung
one
ano
of
ko,
the more
yung
notorious
question ko. Like,
brewery na siya.
yeah, yung,
Uh, mm.
diba? Like, I'm not sure how, pang ilan ba siya? Like, on the scale. Alam ko nga eh, diba?
well,
Gaano siya.
we don't know if siguro if to include everyone, if you will include syempre the holy San Miguel beer, baka he might be top 5, no? Year 4, 5?
I think so.
4.
Like,
Yeah, I
maybe
think number 4.
three or four, huh? Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
The man behind that
So,
is, of course, our
okay.
guest tonight. Before we introduce him, June,
Taong,
why don't you tell
taong
everyone
bundok.
why are we here? Why?
Yeah, yeah.
Si Daang Bundok. Remind
But,
everyone first why we're here for brew sessions.
uh,
Yeah.
so, for those new in this channel, or diba, the brew session is actually a show, or is it considered a show, or a virtual
Um, a talk, a
podcast, a
mini talk
video
show,
podcast, a mini
video
talk show
podcast. Yeah.
that feature our local brewers. Diba? Then we talk about their brewery, how they started. Then we talk about their
How they
beer,
started. Yeah.
anything. Basically anything, 'di ba? Ano nga, Gino? Anything and everything.
Anything and everything craft beer PH. Also, siguro in the future, we're gonna be guesting also, not just the local brewers, but the local importers and distributors then, because they're a part of
Yeah.
craft beer PH. Kumbaga.
That's right.
Diba?
That's right.
So,
Even
watch out for
even
that.
like yung
But for, even yung,
even 'di ba yung mga ano natin, yung mga beer drinkers natin, or yung mga beer connoisseur natin, 'di ba? We're gonna interview them at
yes,
least, 'di
that's
ba?
right.
Totally, we cover everything, hindi lang just the brewer. Even maybe soon,
This
'di
is
ba?
for everyone naman.
'Di ba? Kasi
This is
ang
for the
main
local craft
purpose
beer scene, dedicated for that.
yep. And ang main purpose talaga nito is to really educate people in about craft beer, 'di ba? Especially local
That's
craft
right.
beer.
Local craft
Yep.
beer.
Well,
Ayan, so
yes.
baka mainip si guest. Let's introduce him. Um, June, should we? Pasok na siya.
Okay, sige, ikaw.
Baka ubusin
Ikaw na,
niya yung
ipasok mo.
iniinom niya doon. No? Ladies and gentlemen, our guest, Fred. Before we start, I have a few questions for him. No, before we start. Pero let's let him inside the studio muna. So,
Just give
good
me a minute.
evening. There you go.
Fill up my Let me fill up.
Ayan, refill muna. Nandito na si Fred. Fred, you look good. You lost weight.
Hi, Fred.
Thanks. Did I lose weight? Siguro.
You look like you did, no? Think
Quarantoning siguro.
Quarantoning.
Yeah.
Iba yung quarantoning sa akin eh.
baka naman quarantonic water and gin.
There you go. That
Yeah.
sounds good.
Yun.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So,
So, yeah.
welcome to the show.
Nakikita ko,
Boondocks
you're
or
very
Christmas.
active, di ba?
Oh.
You bike,
Yeah.
you
Oh.
run, huh? With the whole family ba yan?
I
With the
think he
whole-
goes
just
hiking
you?
also, no? Yeah. You go
Yeah,
hiking
hiking.
also, the family. Yeah, something
Yeah,
I want to do also soon, yeah.
Yeah, ang ano namin, we enjoy the outdoors as much as possible. Kahit even before COVID and all of that stuff, we've always been more of trying to enjoy the outdoors. So yun ang ano namin, part and parcel ng lifestyle natin is being outdoors and doing stuff. Yeah.
Pakyat ng bundok ba yan?
Pakyat ng bundok. Yeah.
Boondocks.
That's
There
right.
you go.
That's right.
Everything bagay na bagay. So, there you go, guys.
Okay lang ba na nagsashot na ako?
Okay lang. That's your
Kasi,
shit.
kasi brew
What are you
sessions.
having? Brew sessions? Dapat umiinom na talaga. Si
yeah,
June, umiinom naman.
Ako, umiinom.
Oh.
I'm having our session ale.
There you go. Session ale is actually one of my favorites among Fred's line. It's as it says on the name, very sessionable.
Yeah, I mean, it's called session ale for a reason. Fairly for those who are used to craft beers, it's fairly sessionable. Siguro for those who are for those who are new to craft beers, hindi siya masyadong sessionable kasi medyo masyadong
light na.
yeah, but
Yes.
but for those entering who are trying to broaden their palates, yan, nagiging session eh. Kasi yun, I mean, we have others that are easier, but that's actually my go-to. I know I'm not supposed to play favorites among my children that we brew.
Yeah.
But,
Well, you're entitled to one.
yeah, but here at the house, that's typically what I drink. I drink session ale.
Okay. Ayun, before we start, Fred, you mentioned your first craft beer experience. Let's start with that, no? Because every passion is there's a fire underneath that started of kumbaga. You mentioned your first craft beer experience was when you were in the States. Cherry popper mo was Anchor Steam. So do you recall what style this is? Well, which one?
So see Anchor Steam beer. It's California. It's essentially a California common. It's a hybrid. Well, a hybrid lager.
Okay.
It's a hybrid lager, meaning it's light, just like most lagers are, but if I'm not mistaken, it's fermented at slightly higher temperatures. But
Okay.
that's actually not how I got into. I mean, that is how I introduced craft beer, but
That was your introduction lang, kumbaga.
was my introduction to craft beer. But at the time it was to be clear about it. It was 1994.
94.
So in 1994, hindi pa uso yung labeling things na craft beer or whatever. Basta nangyari, I was visiting close friends sa San Francisco area. Tapos dun sa ref nila, well, okay, fine. Dumating ako dun sa bahay nila. Tapos making myself, feel at home. I go, hey, do you guys have any beers in the fridge? So ako pumunta ako sa ref. Tapos nakita ko may Anchor Steam beer. Ako parang okay, just so you know, before that, I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio. Tapos nag-college ako sa
okay.
So, nag-college ako sa University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign.
Okay.
Well, I mean, not that you need to know anything about Urbana-Champaign. The point is that at the time, Anchor Steam beer was only available in the Bay Area. So when I went to San Francisco, di pumunta ako dun sa bahay ng kaibigan ko, opened this refrigerator, was looking for any kind of beer, nakita ko tong Anchor Steam beer. So sabi ko, what is this beer? Can I have it? And they're like, well, yeah, it's in the fridge, so feel free, have some. And when I had it, I go, okay, it's much more flavorful than yung mga
The regular,
regular American
commercial beer.
lagers, commercial lagers. So whether you consider Anchor Steam or Anchor Brewing a craft beer company or not, that's my first introduction into an American smaller scale, smaller volume brewery. Because almost immediately after Anchor Steam Beer, dun sa bahay ng kaibigan ko, they had Sierra Nevada Pale Ale.
Oh, okay.
So ako parang,
Okay.
yeah, so Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. This is also in 1994. So you could say that that weekend of visiting my friends in the Bay Area opened my eyes up to regional, at the time, regional breweries sa America na parang, oh wait, hang on a second, we don't just have Budweiser and Miller and whoever. There's this brewery here, Anchor Steam or Anchor Brewing, and there's Sierra Nevada. And then that took me along the path of okay, so I was a college student at the time, so wala naman ako masyadong pera, but what I would do is I'd save money and I'd go up to Chicago kasi the main campus of University of Illinois is in Urbana-Champaign, which is about 3 hours away from Chicago. So every once in a while, I'd go up to Chicago. Tapos mahanap ko, Goose Island, mga ganun. So,
tama, Goose Island. Goose Island
Yes.
ba then wasn't,
Wala
pa siya,
pang ano.
independent pa siya nun, di ba?
Oh,
Independent pa Goose Island. Yeah.
So yun. So that was my intro into quote unquote craft beer. So yeah, and then almost yun. So medyo lumawak na yung pananaw ko. So then I went to the liquor store. So I do this at the beginning of the month, right? Why the beginning of the month? Kasi back in the day, I had an allowance. Darating yung allowance ko at the beginning of
the beginning of the month.
So gagawin ko, gagastusin ko yung mga the necessities. Beer. Good beer.
Necessities,
So,
yes.
Yeah, necessities.
Yeah.
So first week, ano yung mga beer ko sa ref ng first week? Yung mga small independent brewers, yung mga imports. So that's actually how I started drinking yung mga Belgian na beers also was dun nga sa college. I go to this liquor store called Piccadilly's in Champaign. Yeah. Tapos yun. Actually, the very first thing going back, the very first thing I bought in Piccadilly's was San Miguel Pale Pilsen. Bakit?
Oh.
Kasi Filipino ko, di ba? So, when I went to
That's the thing that
Piccadilly's,
you missed.
yes, so punta kong Piccadilly's, ang una kong hinanap sanang imported beer. Tapos, yun, even back in 1994, sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed to swear, but
You're allowed mga 5 times lang.
Great. So yung beer selection in this small town in the middle of nowhere in Illinois, meron na silang imported beers, and so that's where I got to discover the more mass produced one like Beck's at saka, Heineken and all of those, Heineken Special Dark, yung mga ganun. But so there I looked for, the very first one that I looked for was San Miguel and Pale Pilsen. So nakahanap ako ng Pale Pilsen, and then I bought it, and then I was thinking, okay, I'm nice and patriotic. I drink Pale Pilsen, but then at the same time, I also picked up Belgian beer here or there, and all that stuff. So that's how I started my na palawakin yung beer experience ko.
Okay. So, hindi ka ba nagtaka nung ininom mo yung San Miguel mo? Parang, uy, ba't ko binili ito? Parang hindi ba siya bland all of a sudden? Or
Well, actually, yun yung naging experience ko. So from an early point, from an early start, I realized na yung love ko at the time, yung love ko for Pale Pilsen was really born of experiences, enjoying Pale Pilsen pag nagbabakasyon ako sa Manila, sa Lawag, sa Ilocos Norte. and then hanging out with my cousins sa Ilocos, and then getting drunk and drinking a lot of pale pilsen. So, syempre, when I moved back to the States, tapos nag-college ako dun, and then yun na nga, hinanap ko yung pale pilsen. Eh di, okay, fine. Okay siya. It's drinkable. It's fine. It's just that, yun, pangalawa na to. Tangina, uminom ako ng nung uminom ako ng Red Stripe. Red Stripe. Jamaica's Red Stripe.
Yeah, the Red
When
Stripe.
I get Red Stripe, the bottle, okay, fine, the bottle's not quite the same, pero medyo may hawig. And then, of course, you realize Belgian, small scale breweries use the same type of bottle shape as pale pilsen, and now you realize, okay, the
amber bottle, yeah.
Then B, you realize na yung lasa pala ng pale pilsen as an exemplar of beer, it's just a beer. Okay, it's just like any. It could be just like any other beer. And so yun na nga, now when I had this Red Stripe, sabi ko, okay, parang pale pilsen pero mas masarap.
Yeah.
And then I came to realize, okay, fine. So there's some days I like pale pilsen. There's some days na, I run across something like, Red Stripe or Tahiti lager, whatever. The point is when you come across these tropical lagers, you start realizing, almost everything that is a tropical, that is a lager that is brewed in a tropical country, kind of tastes like pale pilsen. And then you realize, so then you realize that maybe it's not that special. And yes, we should still. Maybe we should still love San Miguel as a pioneer and growing as big as they are. But really the sentiment na it's the best beer in the world.
Medyo at this time, you're kind of thinking, parang
maybe I've been buying into the maybe I've been brainwashed too much.
I think 80% of us, all Filipinos, drinking San Miguel naman. Out of that is kasama yung experience, diba?
Yes.
The experiences,
Kasi at
drinking
the end
it
of
with
the day,
people or the company we were with, made it more,
Sige, John, At the end of the day,
kasi at the end of the day, kasi you get used to it, diba? So sometimes you look for it, diba? Kasi nakasanayan
hindi,
mo.
sometimes talaga hinahanap mo.
Diba?
Oo. Yeah, totoo yan.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's really nothing wrong with that. Kaya, I mean, okay, diba? Let's call a spade a spade. Ako, I don't badmouth San Miguel. I mean, they're a great company. They do awesome things. Pero, what I take issue with is yung mga nagsasabi na it's the best beer in the world. Ako, okay, pangatlo na to. Putang ina, uminom ka pa ng marami. Sorry, uminom ka pa ng maraming iba-ibang klaseng beer bago ka magsabi ng ganyan. Kasi you need to remove yung subjective love mo for the experience of drinking San Miguel while you're in the field. Ito here's an example. Some of the very loudest and most vociferous and passionate defenders of how great San Miguel Pale Pilsen is, sino? Yung mga expat. Yung mga expat na napadpad dito tapos umalis sila ng Pilipinas. And then they go back to wherever they came from and they're like, you're from the Philippines, like the best beer in the world is, your Pale Pilsen. And I'm like,
Pale Pilsen.
Did you have a hot chick at the time, or I mean, maybe hot guy, I don't know, but I mean, I think you need to be more objective. So,
what's your pension multiplied by 50? Ganun lang yun.
No, I mean, so when I say call a spade, yes, we need to give props to San Miguel for being the great company that it is. But also, those proponents of San Miguel also need to admit it's just a beer. Really, it's just a beer.
Yeah. No, but
it's not the best beer.
Before,
it's just a beer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
yes, June.
This is the only beer that is available to us, diba? There's no other things, diba? Like ano lang ba yung available
Accessibility
for
kasi.
is sino.
Yung accessibility is.
Yeah.
Well,
right?
dude, ako,
So now-
di ba, laki akong Ilocos, may Gold Eagle.
Yeah, but
Yun,
at
Gold
the end of the
Eagle.
day, di ba? Ang accessibility ng San Miguel kasi is they're always
Universal.
everywhere, diba? Kahit saan, sa
Universal
sari-sari store,
Pilipinas.
ganyan, diba? So, kumbaga, it's accessible and siya lang yung talagang makikita mo na anywhere na available. That's why
Yes.
sa craft beer naman, we're actually, especially now that we are here, we try to get people to, di ba, try something new, di ba? Try, di ba? There's
Yes.
nothing wrong of
Yeah.
trying different. Para, di ba? There
Yeah,
are
dude,
many
to-
things
to-
to
Yeah, and to highlight yung sinasabi mo about try something new. Ako, I mean, I think as most brewers are, medyo, I'm not thin-skinned. Ako, I know for a fact na when I have people try my beer, you will either like it or you don't like it. And if you don't like it, there are reasons why you don't like it. And I'm not gonna be offended kung ayaw mo siya kasi for whatever reason, ayaw mo siya. And so,
Yeah,
actually,
that's right.
June, baka ikaw, or Gino, you guys know, kung humingi ka ng feedback sa friends and family, yun ang pinakamahirap.
That's right.
Yun ang pinakamahirap hingan ng tamang feedback.
That's the hardest audience.
They're always
Friends and
worried
family.
about offend ka or something. Parang,
Yeah.
if I got offended by people giving feedback about my beer, I wouldn't have brewed beer.
That's true. That's so admirable. Tama yan, Fred. And ladies and gentlemen,
Okay, wait.
ganun talaga dapat.
May mga tayo. Comment. Diba? Comment muna.
Welcome, guys. So nga pala, Jean is always here. Alvin. Erica is watching, joined us. And there's several comments. James Cruz Makatangay. Back to the San Miguel thing. It tastes like home kasi mga sir, yung memories na naka-attach sa pag-inom.
Absolutely.
Iba din talaga important. Yeah, that's true. That's exactly the point he was driving at, no? That's the point Fred was driving at kanina. And ayan. So,
Wala masama. Tama yan.
wala naman masama sa, it's just that we're also advocating na try to open your palates and your wallets to new other local beers and brewers.
Open your wallets, open your palettes. Okay lang tayo sa open your palettes.
Yeah.
Okay ako dyan.
Tama yan.
Okay.
Ayun.
So
anyway, yes,
So,
June, para
Fred,
before
yeah.
Fred can give us the lowdown and everything.
Okay. So, paano ka naman? Okay. So, that's your experience to craft beer, di ba? Pero, paano ka naman napasok into brewing, di ba? Like,
Brewing.
like I said, di ba, most of
To segue into
mga
brewing.
brewers dito are started as a home brewer, di ba? Hindi sila yung tipo, uy, may pera ako, magtatayo ako ng brewery, di ba? Hindi. So,
I
Yeah,
have a
how
question.
did it
I have a question kay Fred. Follow up sa question mo, June.
Yeah.
Did you start a home brew and then you made your friends try it and then did they like, oh my God, this is so good. Sige, gawin ko na lang to. Meron bang ganun experience?
Actually, okay, fine. To go back. So, di ba sabi ko, 1994, nakatikim na ako ng mga hindi imported na, yes, maliban sa imported beers, nakatikim na ako ng quote-unquote craft beers. And then, at the time, college ako. And as I mentioned, medyo wala akong pera. So, naisip ko rin by doing research or from word of mouth, na-realize ko na pwedeng mag-home brew ng beer. So, nung college ako, 1995 or so, 1995, sinubukan ko mag-brew mag-home brew sa college. But as a college student, the main thing that you want when you brew beer, I don't know, as far as I was concerned, as a 22-year-old guy trying to brew beer for myself, the only thing I wanted from my beer was that it was cheaper than buying beer, and it could get me drunk. That's really my main points for brewing beer. So nung nag-brew ako ng beer sa
Kumbaga,
kit,
that's the
actually,
job, no? checks off
Yeah,
two different
actually,
boxes. Yeah.
tapos yung kit niya, may maliit na barrel siya, na all of those things. Tapos, hahaluan mo dun sa tapos lagay mo sa barrel. So, yeah, it was crappy beer. I mean, it was not good beer. But did it get me drunk?
Was that extract
Yes.
pa? Was it extract?
I'm not,
There
you can make good beer with extract, but this was particularly egregious. Kasi, syempre, as a college student who is just trying to get something that will be cheap and get you drunk, syempre, hindi ko na sinunod yung keep things sterile. Yung mga ganyan, wala, basta ako parang, lulutuin mo lang namin. What's the point? Edi, mag-boil ka din naman.
Papakuluan din.
Papakuluan din, wala yan. So, okay lang. Ayun na, edi, pang-apat na yan. So, I mean, I had this beer that wasn't great. So, I did it 2, 3, 4. I did a handful of times in college. And then I came to the realization that as a college student who wanted to drink beers that were good, I realized na day na tong mag-brew, mag-homebrew ako dito sa sa apartment ko. I'll just allocate my money properly and start to drink other beers elsewhere. So then that was 1995. So then I essentially didn't brew beer for a very long time until around 2000 and going back to answer your question, Gino. At the time, yes, pinatikim ko sa roommate ko. Sabi niya, this is really bad. So that's the feedback I got from my roommate. But coming back, fast forwarding to 2011, noong 2011 or 2010, I had moved back from the States because I was practicing there as a lawyer in a firm. When I moved back to the Philippines in 2010, 2011, I was having some beers with a friend, with my best friend, who was my roommate in college in the States. So we met up here. Tapos while drinking beer, at the time, uminom kami anyways, we were drinking somewhere. Yung mga litro-litrong San Mig Light. So siguro naka-apat na litro ng beer na ako nun. Tapos he asked me a question. The question he asked me was, what do you miss about the States? And to be quite honest, my very first answer was, I miss good sandwiches. Sandwich. Really awesome sandwiches. I'm a sandwich guy. So then, after I drank another half of that liter, tapos, na-realize ko, the other thing I really, really miss about the States is the sheer variety of beer. Just iba-ibang klaseng beer. It may not be the greatest beer. It might not be the poorest beer, the poorest tasting beer. Point is, namimiss ko yung variety of beer. That's what I missed. So, nung nabanggit ko yan, sabi ng friend ko, di ba dati nag-brew ka ng beer na pangit? Sabi ko, no nga no. Sabi niya, marunong ka naman talagang gumawa ng stuff. So why don't you try brewing beer again? So sabi ko, sige, akala ko usapang lasing. But then when I woke up the next day after having a hangover, yun. So nag-research ako ng konti. So sabi ko, you know what? Maybe I can brew beer. And maybe I should give it another try. And so I did. I gave it another try, and luckily at that time, by the time 2011 medyo, I had enough patience to do things properly. So when I brewed beer in 2011, yun, nasarapan yung mga friends and family ko to the point na parang they were saying, I think you have something good here, and you really miss this beer. Why don't you try selling it on a smaller scale? So that's how Boondocks Brewing got started. It was just the desire to have a better variety of beer. Nawala na naman si Gino.
Okay. So, No, but when was this? When was this? Kailan ka really seriously go into brewing? Like, of course, diba?
2000,
Like, una,
yeah.
initially, of course,
Oh.
home brewing lang yan, right?
Hindi. Okay. Sorry. So bale, nag-homebrew na naman ako noong 2011. By the time 2012 came, yun na bumili na ako ng equipment from Portland, Oregon. Stout. Bumili ako ng stout na stainless steel na fermenters. Two barrel fermenters. And then, so 2012 yun. So, bumili ako ng fermenters and equipment from Stout. And then came the very long period of medyo wala akong ginawa with my equipment from 2012 to about 2015. I mean, nandun siya, nag-brew ako paminsan-minsan, but really, the idea to brew beer, the idea to brew beer, yes, and to make varieties of beer, but also na-realize namin ng wife ko na parang, you know what, wala naman 401k. I don't know if you guys know what 401k is, a retirement plan. Wala naman retirement tax shield.
Retirement plan tayo.
So, wala naman ganun dito sa Pilipinas. So, we need to come up with some idea, like what will we do in our retirement para mabuhay tayo. So, inisip ko, beer. So that's the thing. So what happened was, I bought this nice equipment, this nice, shiny looking, awesome equipment from Stout Tanks in Portland, Oregon. Ayun, dumating na siya, 2012. Andun na, nag-rent na ako ng pwesto niya. Sinet up ko na siya. Unfortunately, at the time, I was also having a fairly good immigration law practice. I'm a U.S. immigration lawyer and a Philippine licensed lawyer. So I'm a lawyer for both the U.S. and the Philippines. So syempre, ako with a good practice, good law practice, hindi ko naman siya maiwanan kasi okay yung practice ko ng law, tapos nag-brew ako dito on the side. Until it got to 2015, December, sabi na ng wife ko sa akin, sabi niya, alam mo, yung equipment mo nandyan sa inuupa natin na pwesto na hindi ka pa nagbebenta ng beer. Ano ba talaga?
Inuupa.
Is this as in umuupa ako ng lugar kasi kasya sa bahay ko yung equipment.
Yeah.
So, yung
you're paying rent. You're paying rent.
May expenditures, wala naman pumapasok na revenue. Sabi ng wife ko, they, you know, it's, I mean, to use a American idiom, it's time to shit or get off the pot, di ba? Ano ba? Either gawin mo or wag mo gawin. You know, choose. Sabi niya sa akin, we're in a good spot. We're in a good spot. So maybe if you want, stop. If you yung practice of law, your law practice, shut it down or temporarily shut it down, and then mag-focus ka sa brewing, and let's see if you can do what you say you can do. So yun. So January. So December 2015. Come to Jesus na usapan kami ng wife ko. So then January 2016, I stopped practicing law. I started really brewing beer. And then by the time October 2016 came along, we launched our brand.
Okay.
So it took a long time.
2016. I think
2016. Pero 2012, you already have your equipment. 2016.
Yeah.
Okay.
October, so 2012, nandun na yung equipment. October 2016, dun ako naglabas ng beer namin. Yeah.
Ng beer na.
Okay. I think if correct me if I'm wrong. Ito yung launch mo na to. Kasi before, naririnig ko na, merong brewery sa Cubao. Pero, sino to, di ba? Parang, and then, that time, you launched your beer sa may Green Belt, right?
Hindi.
Yung number one beer, right?
Well, yes. That was
hindi ba yan?
That was hindi yun yung launch namin. Nakapag-launch na kami before that. Yung sa Greenbelt yun yung sa Dillingers. Sa Greenbelt. Yeah, di ba?
Okay.
Yung bar sa
That's right.
Yes. That's
yung
the time
launch,
that's the time I first met you.
yes, and that's also the time na I think na-meet rin kita, Gino, dun sa Dillingers, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe.
That's right.
Or
Yeah.
baka
No,
yeah, di ba?
Rangers, I think, yes. Second
Yeah.
time we saw each other sa Beer Fest na. Yeah.
Correct. Kasi June, nag-launch kami ng brew ng beer ng brand namin sa Fred's Revolution sa Cubao Expo.
Fred's Revolution, yeah.
Yeah, dun yung
That's
ano
right.
namin.
That's
Dun
where
yung
I first saw your beers also, yeah.
Yeah, dun yung launch namin.
If I'm not mistaken, beer number 2 ba yun? Yung, or was it
Beer
number
number
1? Number 1.
Beer number
Number 1,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, the imaginatively named beer number 1 because it was our first beer.
The wheat beer.
That's right.
Yeah, it's a wheat beer.
The
Ginawa
wheat
na
beer,
namin,
yeah.
pinangalan na namin na wheat beer.
Is that the wheat
ale.
beer? Is that the wheat beer?
It's a wheat ale. It's the wheat ale.
The wheat ale, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kasi yun na nga, na ang dami kasing nagtatanong. It was only that you know, like that when you work a brand, you don't really know how it's gonna go, and you don't you know, it's a work in progress. So yun, pinalit na namin sa wheat ale. Bakit? Kasi ang daming nagtatanong, beer number 1, what is that? What kind of beer is that? Oh, it's a wheat.
Oh,
It's a
that's
wheat
beer
ale.
number.
Oh, it's wheat ale. Okay.
Number
So,
1 sa
parang-
listahan. Hindi man.
Yeah, sa number 1 sa listahan. Yun.
Oh,
It's wheat.
yeah. There you go. Wow. So you are at
Okay.
this point,
And then-
you're on sabbatical with your law practice, kumbaga.
Sabbatical? Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I mean, yeah. So,
That's okay.
sorry. So, mula nung January 2016, I have not been professionally practicing law. Although
That's
I still
okay.
practice friends and family law. What does that mean? Yung mga friends and family na tumatawag, uy, friend, ano naman, papakonsult sa akin. And then I tell them right up front, listen, I will give you advice. Don't worry about that. That will be free. What I cannot do is I cannot handle cases for you. I cannot handle matters for you. I can't review contracts for you. The only person that I can review contracts for is my wife. That's it.
There you
Everybody
go.
else wala. Sinasabi ko, if you give
Pwede
me
yun.
a
Basta sabihin mo,
go. Basta sabihin ko,
bili kang 2 case muna.
dude, sorry. Medyo, magbubuhat ako ng sarili kong bangko. 2
Lima.
cases of beer for my advice is low.
Hindi, ano yun? Per hour yun, ha? Per hour.
Oh, yeah. No,
Per hour. Per hour. Maliit
Yeah,
pa
no,
yung per
my-
hour mo, ha? I'm
Yeah,
thinking,
my rate per hour was more than 2 cases of beer.
more than 2 cases. There you go.
So
So, for the love of beer,
so
thank you,
Fred,
Fred, for doing this for us. For
good.
local craft beer PH. June, yes.
so Fred, 'di ba? So kailan mo na-realize na okay, I have to be serious on what I'm doing, 'di ba? Like okay na, I have to jump from this small shiny equipment to I think you're the second or the third largest brewery in the Philippines, 'di ba? So,
Yeah.
kailan ka nag-decide na okay, now I'm gonna do it and I have to from a small home brew scale brewery to like the third most largest brewery in the Philippines. So, kailan yun? How did yun? How did you convince yourself na okay, I'll do this, diba? Point
okay.
of no return.
Yeah. So it's like this, right? Noong
Kasi at the end of
Yeah.
the day, di ba? Kasi at the end of the day, most of our viewers here are really, di ba? They're home brewers or they admire what we are doing and maybe soon they want to be like us, di ba? So maybe you can advise them on like how they can
na-flatter naman ako na they want to be like us. Yeah, but okay, yes. Thank you for no, but thank you for laying the groundwork for me to be able to answer that question. Ganto, no?
Yeah.
So so as I mentioned, I got into this thing as a retirement plan, right? Because I realized I thought to myself, shit, if the United States can exist with, at the time, with 4,000, 3,000 microbreweries,
Yeah.
I am 100% sure now we here in the Philippines can exist with a mega brewery, a kalaban ng mega brewery, si Asia Brewing, and any number of microbreweries that have the same idea as I do. Kasi, we all love, I mean, Filipinos love drinking beer. Let's be honest. That's the thing. So
We're a
that
beer drinking country.
beer
That's right.
drinking country. So I embarked on that path in 2011 up to 2000. I bought the equipment 2012. That was 2016. I had this brewery sa Cubao. And then, to make the jump from having a 150 liter boil kettle and 250 liter fermenters, I had 3 of them, to go from that scale to having a 3,500 liter brew house and 8 3,500 liter fermenters. Ayan, so alam niyo na yung volume ko. You know my production capacity. Why did I do that? Well, I did it because yung sa small scale ng brewery ko, I realized that in order for me to achieve my dreams of retiring with this beer, hindi ako mabubuhay sa 250 liter fermenters. The only way that I can retire on 250 liter fermenters is if I will be brewing every single day of the week. And then even if I do that, I won't have enough fermenters to hold that beer afterwards. So then I started to think about paano mag-scale up into having something that would be big enough. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is I realized ang laki ng beer drinking market sa Pilipinas. Really. I mean, without getting into the nitty-gritty details of the revenue of San Miguel and all of that thing. We don't need to talk about that. The point is that there is enough of a market for beer drinkers that kumuha ka lang ng 1% na binebenta ni San Miguel. Masaya na ako dun. Happy ako dun. If I can get 1% of the sales of San Miguel, I'm not trying to steal from San Miguel. All I'm trying to do is to make people realize. Yes, sir.
No,
Hey,
like 1% for the whole craft beer industry.
no, 1%.
Masaya
Hindi
na
kay Fred
tayo.
na lang muna. For
Yeah,
Fred
1%.
muna.
Okay, for you lang. Okay.
Retirement sinasabi niya eh. Oo naman, Junior.
Yun yung naging focus ko.
Yun yung
1%.
ideally the focus. Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
not saying I'm not saying that I will be able to outsell our colleagues. Hey Erica, I'm not saying I'll be able to outsell our colleagues. It's not like that. What I'm trying to say is my personal goal is to create a paradigm shift among beer drinkers in the Philippines, that 1% of the current market will say, yeah, Boondocks Brewing, I like their beer. Here's a guy who loves his family. Here's a guy who likes to mountain bike or who likes to hike and he's got this thing going on. Ayos yan. Sige, let's buy his beer. That's all I'm saying. If all of our colleagues can get 1%, or if we end up sharing, sa States, what is the craft beer industry in the States? 14%?
Yeah.
It's not 14%. If we as an industry can get 14% of current sales, tapos if I personally fall short of 1% of the market, you know what? I'll be fucking happy. That's my 5th swear word. I will be happy that the craft beer industry now has 14% of the market in the Philippines. Because what does that mean for me as Boondocks? Well, you know what? Maybe I came short of my personal goal of 1%. But without individuals or without individual breweries, without individual breweries trying to aim for 1%, hindi tayo abot sa 14%.
Yes.
We will not. Kung masaya
That's
kung
right.
masaya
That's
tayo
right.
sa kung masaya tayo sa 100 or 0.1% of the market, tangin na, umuwi ka na. Mag-brew ka na lang sa bahay mo. You're not gonna you're not going to move the needle enough. You're not gonna move the needle enough for you, and you're not gonna move the needle enough for our colleagues to make it worth it. So you must make it worth it for not only yourself but for the industry. And so I've always been a big proponent of,
Yes.
magbuhat tayo ng a rising tide. A rising tide lifts all boats. Let's
That's right.
let's not let's not badmouth other breweries or other small breweries, because it doesn't make any sense at all. Wala pa nga tayo sa 1%.
Kung baga, let's all get there together, diba?
Yeah, let's all get there together.
Yes.
At the end of the day, some people have been here before I have. Some people have gotten here after I have. Hindi naman I'm not into this thing for like a pataasan ng ihi contest. All I'm into it is for when my hair turns more gray than it does, I can go back to Ilocos. I can go back to Ilocos. I can go back to my probinsya, and I can kick back and enjoy a few of my own beers in my home province. And you know what? If I'm in Lawag, and all of a sudden I'm drinking Mari's beer, or I'm drinking Erica's beer from sa brewery, or I'm drinking Polly's beer from Iligan. Well, why the fuck not?
Yeah, that's right. That's a good, that's a
Yep.
good state of mind moving forward, for craft beer
Yeah.
PH. So,
I know.
yes, June.
Yeah. But I think today, diba? Like our community are very connected, diba? Well connected. So diba, we're everybody is like helping the industry to elevate. So I think that's a good thing, diba? So
Oh,
far
Yeah.
right now, everybody is like helping each and everyone. Yep. So ano pa ba?
So-
Ano pa ba yung next topic natin?
Well, ayun, since we've gotten the lowdown on how Fred got started, his goals in the future and everything,
Uh-huh.
why don't we introduce our guests tonight? I'm pretty sure they're eagerly waiting
Yeah.
on the backstage, no? So, June, do
know.
the
Diba?
honors.
Kasi
Who are our guests?
So,
Introduce them.
okay, but no, wait muna. Before we go to our guest, diba? Kasi si Fred ata ano rin yan eh. I'm not sure. How did he came up with ano to eh? K drama ata yan eh. Or K
We're heading that direction na.
K drama fan. So
yeah.
Yes, diba? Parang
Okay.
So,
I mean,
are you
okay.
a
at the end of the day,
Korean
diba?
drama fan,
I'm
Fred?
actually
am I a K-drama fan?
Yes.
The honest answer to that question is no. I am not a
No.
K-drama fan. But
Okay.
why? Pinagalitan ako ng wife ko, sabi niya, don't say that out loud. No, I mean, we keep it real, right? But here, why? Pinagalitan ako tuloy. No. So yes, I am not a K-drama fan, but my teenage daughters are very familiar with K-dramas, and I'm not gonna get in. I have a 17-year-old and a 14-year-old. They're both girls, and I'm not gonna get into why they like Korean dramas. Okay, I'm not. Yeah, and I'm not even gonna talk about my wife and why she likes Korean drama. I'm not. What am I supposed to mention the fact that there are attractive people on these shows? I don't know. Am I supposed to? But so how did I get into it? So I got into it like this. Somebody approached me and asked me a question. They asked a question. It was a very simple question, right? They go, Fred, how do you feel about being a part of a very special edition of creating a beer that is for a fan club for a K-drama star. I said, okay, so there's a little bit of a background. I am, yes, I'm a brewer. I love craft beer, but also I'm a businessman, right? And ako, I believe in giving. I believe in giving customers what they want. And when a customer comes to me and says, "Hey," kasi hindi lang si Hyun, hindi lang Korean drama eh. A band came to me before
That's
this and
right.
said,
Yeah.
"Band, it's Hey Moonshine, hey
Hey,
Carlo."
Moonson, yeah. I asked you before, no? You mentioned
K-pop.
the
K-pop.
bassist was your friend or a classmate?
Yeah, the bassist,
The
my
bassist.
my
Oh,
classmate.
the Hey
also-
Moon. Hey.
Hey Moonshine, yeah, the band.
Yeah.
So, linapitan naman. Sabi, Fred, gusto namin yung beer mo. Is there any way that we can create a beer that exemplifies a song of the band? Sabi ko, yeah, sure. Why the fuck not? So, ako, I've always been open in seeing business opportunities and opportunities to spread the gospel of good beer to other audiences. So if a K-drama fan group comes to me and says, Fred, we have a group that has X amount of people, ang gagawin namin kasi birthday ng idol namin, gusto namin magkaroon ng beer na nandun yung pangalan niya, payag ka ba dun? Ako parang, yeah, what volume are we talking about? Are we talking about like, you're gonna buy like 1 case of beer? Kasi kung ganun, hindi ako papayag. Pero if you're gonna buy, an appropriate volume of beer, why not? I mean, I have some beers there. As long as you're willing to acknowledge that the beer came from us, why not? So
Yeah.
that's how it happened. Pure and simple.
How did how
Okay.
were there any
So-
conflict
So now,
Yes.
No, I was gonna ask
sige, Gino, go ahead.
in the process of making this beer, were there any collaborations of any sort? Was it just that certain person who approached you? Were there
It was
any
just-
choice of
it was
hops or whatever yung mga ganun?
Hindi naman. It was more that the person who approached me, we had a beer tasting sa brewery.
Okay.
I gave them a range of the beers that we have, and I said, okay, for what you guys want to do, we will not. Ano to? This is public knowledge naman to. We will not brew a specific beer for you guys, but feel free to pick among our beer styles what you think would be amenable to your base, and I'll give my suggestions as to what we should go with. And it was as simple as that. It's essentially it's essentially a relabeling of our beer.
Okay. All right. So June, do we introduce them or do we have the beer with us? Are
Okay.
we having that?
So yun. So, yep. Actually, I don't know. Wala tayo, but wala.
I think
But anyway,
kasi
so
wala nang ano. Kaya sige, go ahead.
ipasok natin yung who. So ipasok
Oo,
natin kung sino yung kumonek kay Fred
Ayan,
on this
sige.
event.
Let's start with that.
Introduce.
Sa kanya lang tayo magtanong ng beer. Ayan. Hi, Cherry.
Hey,
Good evening.
Hello,
Hi,
Shay.
Cherry. Introduce yourself to everyone.
Of course.
So,
June, ako mag-introduce
ano
myself.
sa'yo?
Annyeong!
Yan.
Okay. Hello. Actually, Gino, in case you don't know, me and June have been working for quite few projects already because I was with, I helped him for the Manila Beer Fest.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. There you go.
All the events that was mounted for the Philippine craft beer community, it was facilitated by our office.
Oh, okay. Oh,
June
wow.
and I have a partnership already, and that's the reason why I know Fred also. So
Okay, there you
kaya
go.
when we have,
Pero Cherry, can I interrupt?
go ahead.
I think the very first time I really met you was dun sa event sa Met Live malapit sa MOA.
Yeah, so it's also somewhere like a parang festive small one. It's like a
Yeah,
pocket.
it was a small one. I think this is the first time I met you, and I think nainis ka yata sa akin dun eh.
Baka you're one of those who doesn't follow the
Oh, ang
mechanics.
kulit ko eh. Anyways, go ahead.
I'm kind of strict kasi I'm telling the June, this is for the community, not just for one specific brewer. We have to do it this way. But anyway, at least friends tayo. Pag nakakaaway ko muna, nagiging friend ko after.
Yeah, that's a good
Love you.
that's a good sign. Yeah, there you go.
Kasi at least I somehow got their attention on what needs to get done. That's the reason why everybody needs to follow, right?
Mamaya na kita awayin, sige.
Yun.
Guys, thank you. I'm very happy on behalf of the Hyun Bin
So,
Philippines.
so,
Oh, sige,
Yeah,
June.
yeah,
Jerry,
So,
paano ka naman napasok kay Yun Bin? So, kay drama ka ba talaga? No, kasi me and Jerry, we talk a lot about this Yun Bin thing. Kasi my wife and my daughter, they will watch until 6 a.m. in the morning, di ba? Parang,
kaya yan yung hindi ko binanggit.
parang,
Yan na yung hindi ko
me and my
binanggit
daughter,
eh.
di ba?
Ayun o, si Fred tuloy. Sounds
Diba?
familiar daw.
My wife and my
Actually,
daughter, di ba? Kinikilig, di ba? Nagsisigawan in her room na kung saan ako natutulog, di ba? Parang, hello, patulugin niyo ako. Di ba? Parang,
May sarili na silang
sino ba
mundo.
yan? Di ba? Parang, okay.
Yeah.
Ikaw naman din, binugulo mo sila. Sa iba kang room matulog.
Oh my God.
Wrong.
What's wrong with you, June?
Jude, dalawa sila. Isa ka lang. Ano ka ba?
Ikaw na sa balkon eh.
Kaya
naman eh.
I know.
And
I
there's
know.
plenty of husbands and boyfriends. If they can't beat their girlfriends and their wives, they eventually join them na. Di ba?
Oo nga, ano?
Oo. Manood ka na kasi para hindi ka ma-left out. Yun lang
Yeah.
yun.
Sige. Mamaya.
No,
Magbibinge ako.
but the thing is, na-involve ako dyan, even on that portion, kasi paragliding. Kasi I do paragliding also, di ba?
Okay, so
di
nag-paragraph.
ba sabi nung anak ko doon, sabi niya, Dad, di ba? So, sabi niya, Dad, you do the same thing kung anong ginagawa niya, di ba? So, sino ba yan, di ba? Parang, okay, di ba? Parang, oh my God, like, for yung lockdown, since March until the whole, pinapanood nila, lahat ng Korean drama sa Netflix, napanood nila. So, it was like, okay, hands up. Okay na. So,
Weightlifting fairy.
pagtatanungin mo
Ayun,
yung my wife, di ba? Pagtatanungin mo yung wife ko kung sino yung favorite niya na K-drama actor, si Yoon Bin, di ba? At inutusan niya pa ako, kumuha ka ng smart toaster sa smart office para like, oh my God.
Lipat na tayo ng network. Buti hindi ka ginanon, no? Lipat na tayo network.
Okay lang. I understand, di ba? Kung tayo beer, sila yan. Di ba? So I understand. Fully understand.
Well,
Kanya-kanya.
So,
Ayan,
Sally, paano ka
pinag-isa.
napasok dyan?
Pinag-isa na. So, tuloy natin. Tuloy niyo. Pinag-isa.
Oh, tumingin na. Ikaw talaga, tumitingin na naman ng phone kasi nagte-text sa'yo si Hyun Bin eh. Sus!
Hindi ako nagtataya kasi nilanganan ko. Sabi ko, may papakita dapat ako sa inyo. Yung
Boss
picture niyo
June.
sa wallet ko.
Actually, Cherry, tinatanong ni June kung meron pa akong Hyun Bin na beer. Meron ka bang Hyun Bin na beer?
Meron pa tayo. Actually, kasi, Fred, when we launched the Hyun Bin beer to the fan club, we specifically told them that it's exclusive for his birthday.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
So it's parang I'm not keeping to my words if the beers are readily available anytime. So I said until we come up with like a good quantity of requests, that's the only time we will try to run again
Sure.
couple of batch for that.
Yeah, so just let me know. Nandyan lang naman kami. But yun na nga. I'm not gonna do my lawyer bit right now. Pero alam mo nang you know what I'm gonna tell you. So I'll leave it at that.
Right.
De June, yung si Cherry, nawala na si June. Ayan. De, I was just really na peak yung interest ko talaga nung nilapitan ako na let's do let's do this thing na parang yan. You know, it was just heartwarming to know na you wanted to have Boondocks be a part of it. So yeah, we're happy to watch.
And you know, I have to share it to you, Fred. Isn't it that one of our megastar even message saying that she doesn't even drink beer, but for the sake of Hyun Bin, for her love for Hyun Bin, she will drink beer.
Oh, yeah. Sinong megastar to?
Sharon ka
Yung
na.
kaisa-isang megastar.
Megastar. Okay.
Who? Sino?
Hyun Bin fan din siya.
Oh, actually, kasi
Okay.
this is what we did during Hyun Bin's birthday. I sent beers to people, to the celebrity fans of Hyun Bin, kasi they're very vocal. They really post it during his birthday na, oh, happy birthday.
Yeah.
Ano mga pinupost nila. So since they were doing that, I sent the gifts to them also to celebrate with us. And then, you know, frankly, they really did that on their own initiative. They just posted it also, and they were like greeting Hyun Bin, and they're showing the Hyun Bin beer because it's indeed very unique naman talaga. A lot of people was congratulating that project. We were featured in magazine, newspapers, several blogs because of the the idea being novel. Wala namang nakapag-isip na gawa ng medyo mahirap gawin yun
So in your knowledge, ilang cans na lang natira?
No, everything was out.
Do you have an idea?
Ako?
Sold out.
Yung total?
Sold out. Wiped out lahat.
Hindi, sold out lahat. Kung hindi nakakamali, parang 20 cases of beer. Ganun. 20 cases of beer. So around 20 times around 500 cans of beer. Yeah.
O, diba, June? Hindi mga umiinom yun. Napainom ko ng craft beer.
Okay. But, pero, diba? Okay. But anyway, baka naman for viewers natin, hindi lang si Cherry yung ating guest, di ba? Meron tayong dalawang special Hyun Bin fan talaga.
Oo, ayan.
Di ba? Na talaga,
ayan, para maliwanagan tayo. Ayan.
Hard, Oo, di ba? Paano ko ba i-invite? Sandali. Let me invite them, ha? Okay.
Bring them in.
Ayun.
Yes.
Ang dami nating girls ngayon tonight. So, hold on.
Lumitaw, nawala. Ayun. Dina. Yeah.
Gio, ikaw nga.
Ako ba?
Papakilala?
Ikaw na, Cherry. Go.
Dina. Yeah, Dina is a Binyan. We call ourselves Binyans. The fans are called Binyans. Pero they're not.
Binyan? Okay.
Binyans.
Binyan. So hi Dina, welcome.
Hello. Hi, good evening po.
And pinupo kayo.
Sorry. Good evening. Sorry. Sorry.
Okay lang.
Magalang.
Na namin yan.
Wala namang problema. Hindi naman masama.
Okay lang yan.
Oo, okay lang yan. Sanay na ako dyan. Lahat ng tao nagpupuna sa akin.
Ayan, kompleto na, June.
Kim also is a Binyan. So actually, they're very supportive to the fan club. And then when we asked the club who among them likes to be guested in your show, then they were the ones who said na, bye. They were the ones who said that they were interested. So, yeah. Wala namang, June was saying, regardless kung knowledgeable sa craft beer or not, mas maganda nga pag hindi. Kasi the objective now of your show is always to educate people and
Educate and hopefully convert, no? Convert.
Yeah,
you know,
convert,
entice
convert.
muna. Entice
Yeah.
muna sila. Give them kumbaga, a proper welcome into the craft beer world. Yeah. One of Fred's advocacies is yung kumbaga the
Kim,
gateway, the bridgeway
Kim and
beer.
Dina,
Diba?
maybe Kim.
June, wala ka.
Ayan, June. Go ahead, June.
June. June.
Sandali. Okay.
Wala na naman si Cherry.
Kim and Dina, introduce yourself muna. Like, what do
No,
you
I'm
do?
here,
Where
I'm
do you,
here.
where are you guys from? Diba? Kukunin niyo yung beer. Kim, introduce yourself, please. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kim. I'm 26 years old from Makati.
Where are you from?
Makati nga daw.
Oh, okay.
Ako, nakamute.
Kim, ayan, medyo makulit na kami. Kim, if you mind us
May
asking, what
ASL
do you
pala.
do?
Okay.
May ASL pala tonight.
Yun, what keeps you busy usually, Kim? Except for watching Hyunbin, besides Hyunbin, ano pang, what keeps you busy? What do you do?
I'm a full-time mom. I have
Oh,
4
okay.
kids.
Yeah, that's a really tough job. How about you,
Okay.
Dina?
Si Dina naman. Dina and your...
I'm Dina. I'm 35 years old and I live in Bacoor, Cavite. And I am a high school teacher.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
Eh, yung,
Yeah.
baka naman,
behave.
napapanood.
So, pwede bang uminom pag sa classes
Teacher
ko?
dito,
Pwede
Brewing.
naman.
Actually,
Pwede
yun ang
mag-Hyunbin
isa,
beer. Pwede
nung
mag-Hyunbin
sinabi
beer.
ko, sinabi niya, high school teacher, baka naman, mapanood niya yung mga estudyante mo, baka kung ano.
Ay, hindi. Naka-private. Siyempre,
Okay.
naniniguro.
So, yeah, nagte-take over na ako dito,
Okay.
pero, yan, sige, magtanong na kayo. Hindi na ako magtatanong.
Ay,
Pinupunta ako
show
dito.
mo to, Gino.
Sorry.
Show mo to, June.
Drink.
Sorry.
Host. Ano ba?
Ay, ang saya eh.
Wait,
Ang
let,
saya. Masaya si
Interview.
June kasi. June, inom ka pa kasi June.
Ayan,
Kulang pa yung kulaman
wait muna.
dito.
Let me,
Guys, nagliligpit ako.
Okay.
Pinaalis na ako sa restaurant.
no.
Ayan, ano.
I'm in the beach. Hello, June.
Nasaan ka
Tara
ba?
naman.
Nasaan, Cherry?
Nasa Pico ako.
Where are you now?
I'm in the
Pico de
restaurant
Loro nga.
club.
Nasa beach ka?
Yeah. In the beach resto.
Oh,
Ayan,
okay.
ayan, yeah. Oh, I'm out.
Okay, anyway, sandali. Tanong ka muna, si Kim at saka si Tina. Okay, have you had beer ba before besides etong kay Hyunbin beer? Like, anong craft beer or whether imported or local, have you tried? Na-try nyo? Anong,
Nung
Dina, ikaw
pumunta
muna.
po kasi ako pumunta ako ng UK, may pinainom sa akin yung pinsan ko. I forgot the name, pero he said na it's a craft beer. So okay naman siya, masarap. Nagustuhan ko.
Nagustuhan mo yung craft
Kahit hindi
beer.
talaga ako as in beer drinker, pero nagustuhan ko. Kasi craft beer.
Hindi, sandali Dina, just mag-interject ako. When you say na mas nagustuhan mo siya dahil craft beer, nagustuhan mo in the sense na kasi bakit? Kasi malasa siya or I mean what's the reason na nagustuhan mo siya?
Compared dito yung craft beer na natikman ko aside dito sa Yunbin, hindi siya ganun kapait. Medyo kasi ako medyo di ko gusto yung sobrang pait na beer. Kasi doon ako mas natatalo pag Kaya I'd rather drink siguro yung mga mojito.
Bitter.
Kasi hindi masyadong mapait. Yun.
Got it. Okay.
Kaya nagustuhan ko yung sa akin, pinainom.
Okay.
I need to check. Where's the card?
How about you, Kim?
How about you, Kim?
Yes.
Kim, what is your craft beer experience besides yung Hyun Bin beer?
Yun!
Do you have
Yan,
any,
Dinago.
May na-try po ako dati
Go,
sa,
Dina.
2017, nagpunta ng Baguio. Ko lang, Baguio Craft Brewery ata yun, pero I forgot the
Baguio
brand.
Craft Brewery.
Hindi ko
That's
alam
right,
kung
that's right.
talong or pugaw yung nainom ko na beer. Pero may strong
Pugaw.
yung niya. May kick.
Pugaw is actually an IPA. Mapait yan, ha? Nagustuhan mo ba?
Nagustuhan mo yung kulit?
How was the,
Yes.
how nagustuhan mo?
Compare sa
Flavorful.
yung mga beer na sa market na ganyan nabibili.
At saka syempre may sipa siya.
Yeah.
Yes po. Iba.
Nakailan ka?
Sige, yan.
Oo, mataas yun. Mataas yung alcohol content ni Pugaw, I think.
Yung Pugaw is an IPA. Yeah.
8% ata yun
Oo. At saka may yung aromatic siya. Oo.
Tapos, strong yung...
Citrus and mabango, di ba? Yeah.
Mabango. Oo.
Ayun, so ikaw, June, ano yung una mong ano yung una?
So Fred.
Yes, sir.
Ano
June,
muna
go.
yung inom natin sa kanila? Ano yung una nating ipapataste sa kanila?
Ay, si Dina. Uminom na. Anong iniinom ni Dina?
Si Dina, ginano na niya
Siyempre, ito.
Summer. Okay. Ikaw, Kim, may summer ale ka ba dyan?
Yes po. May yun beer na ako dito
Meron ka pang...
Meron ka pang hindi. Para
beer.
There you
Yeah.
go.
June, can I come and go? It's okay, right?
Okay.
I finally saw one.
Nasaan na si June?
Ayan.
Yun. Ayan, nawala. Lumit.
Babalik siya. Kumuha na ng beer ulit.
Eka nga nila, nakabalik na siya. Ayun. Uy, ano yan? Naka-freeze ka or nagpapanggap ka na naka-freeze?
Naka-post si Judy.
Di ba?
Sino? Ako?
Yung mga student mga high school, uso ba yung ganito? Yung mag-ano ka ng 1 second? Yung hindi ka gagalaw, pero yung pala, hindi na sila gumagalaw parang nag-hang yung screen, pero yung pala.
Actually, may gumawa niyan sa estudyante ko.
Okay.
Na nag-freeze siya. Pero, nung tinatawag ko na, wala, bigla siya nag-out sa Zoom. Ganun na lang.
Oh.
Tapos minsan, may isa rin akong estudyante na may nakaset na siya na naka-freeze, pero naka-on yung video niya.
May mga
mga high
wise
school
class,
may mga wise dyan sasabihin nila na, kasi yan, gagayin nila si June. Kanta rin sila.
May loopholes na. Wow.
I'm settled.
Sasabihin, teacher, pwede ko bang patayin na lang yung camera ko kasi mababa yung bandwidth. Yan.
Correct, yan.
Ganto.
Yung mga reason nila ganyan. Na-disconnect, nawala internet, inutusan ng mother, kaya nag-off ng video during class.
Inutusan?
Yun. So, anong iniinom natin? Summer. Ganun ba?
Okay.
So, Kim, are you having summer also?
Okay.
Yung beer mo, meron pa yun?
Yes po, meron pa.
As in unopened. Oh, wow. There you go.
Ano yan? Kim, ano yan?
Yung Hyun Bin na summer. Yung Hyun Bin na summer, unopened pa.
Okay. Ayan, June. Let's introduce everyone to the summer ale. What are we gonna have?
Okay.
Summer ale ba?
So, okay. So, sandali. Summer
Yes,
ale.
sir.
So, okay, dun sa mga drinker natin, we're gonna ask you, di ba, kung ano yung, what do you get? Ano yung nalalasahan nyo? Katulad ba siya ni San Miguel? O ano? Or anything that pwede nyo, anong naamoy nyo? Or, kasi at the end of the day, we try to educate you. Parang, we'll tell you kung ano dapat yung maamoy nyo. And Fred will tell you kung ano dapat. And, first, okay, Kim
Cologne
and
ba
Dina,
ni Hyun Bin yan? Yung
for
amoy.
your information, dapat iniinom hindi sa glass, okay? Kailangan meron kang baso.
Yes.
Okay? Hindi mo, kasi for us, nasanay tayo, iniinom na yung beer straight from the bottle or from the can. Di ba?
Pero, ayan, sige,
But
sandali
craft
ha.
beer, we really
Mawawala ko
encourage you to
1 second.
Okay, Fred. Fred will get a glass also.
Yes.
okay.
Tama. Always drink your beers in a glass.
So-
kasi yung, especially if candy yan, may carbon yan eh. So you don't want a carbon na pumapasok sa katawan nyo. That'll make you feel bloated. So, that's why a lot of people say, ayoko ng beer, naka-bloat. So, most of the time, it's because they're drinking straight from the bottle or the can, di ba? So, June, ano naman?
Yeah.
Are you guys
So,
drinking this?
ang purpose kasi nun is kasi, di ba?
Yep.
Yung di ba? So you get the aroma kung anong aroma ng beer na iniinom mo. So that's why we really encourage you to drink it sa glass.
Oh, it's
Di
a
ba?
glass.
Tama ba, Gino?
Yeah,
Gino,
it's
is that
actually,
Yeah. Di ba?
ano, it's not a gender thing, no? It's always beer is always best enjoyed in a glass. So Miss Cherry, we recommend you get a glass for your beer.
Hindi na ako pahihiram ng glass here.
Ayaw na.
The
Sabi mo,
restaurant
bigyan
is
mo ng Yun Bin beer next time. Ayan. So
Hindi lang
there.
ako
That's basically the concept, especially if it's a craft beer. It's best enjoyed in a glass in some sort of a vessel na inumin niyo siya. There you go. Ayan. So your experience, si Miss Kim and Dina, diba? Better na amoy niyo yung beer. You're gonna enjoy it more. One more thing.
Yeah.
Craft beer, I think you're already informed. Any beer, in fact, huwag yayaluhin. Do not ice them. In fact, ice cold beer is more on mutes the flavor of what the brewer intended. So parang, kumbaga, kumakain ka ng malamig na pagkain, walang lasa. Diba? Kaya mo pinapainit.
Gina, I
Diba?
have a testimonial to share. June knows
Yeah.
this. Okay,
Yeah.
before I wasn't really drinking
Go.
beer. So I was more used to drinking the commercial beers. So when I was drinking those, and then all of a sudden, there's a switch that since I've been drinking craft beer now more regularly. There was one time that I went to a bar, and then I was ordering beer. Tapos, my friend, she poured me na the beer sa glass. Tapos when I drank it, sabi ko sa kanya, waiter, tumawag ako ng waiter. Sabi ko, waiter, pakipalitan nga yung baso ko kasi matabang.
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 Yung baso?
Matabangan ako. Sabi ko, ano yan, natunaw na yung yellow dun sa beer. Sabi niya, hindi, kaka-pour lang daw niya ng beer dun sa glass. And I was sharing that story to June. And then June said that I have already matured my palate. Because my tastes have already changed. My preference of the taste have already changed. Because I'm used to na drinking craft beer. So I it's more flavorful. Compared compared to
That's right.
I won't mention the beer, but definitely we know what we're talking about here. The commercially available ones. So nandun, makikita mo talaga, or rather, it's your experience in drinking, ma-define mo yung difference niya. Are you guys there?
Okay. Ayan. So, June, anything to add as a brewer? You have brewers have
Yeah.
really hate it when they see ina-ice mo yung craft beer, no? Because hindi yun yung intention nila. Kung baga parang ano yan parang nilagyan mo ng door yung pagkain.
No.
Matabang yung luto mo. Matabang.
Yeah. Kasi at the end of the day, the reason kumbaga ginagawa yung beer na ginawa ni brewer is really talagang ganon. But you don't have to dilute it with water kasi or ice kasi pag nilagyan mo ng ice kasi gusto mo lumamig, then you're diluting the flavor itself. So mawawala. Diba? Kakain ng adobo tapos nilagyan mo ng sabaw ng tinola, diba? So it's just nawala yung mismong flavor ng adobo. Parang something like that, diba? So
Extremely tinola
and the good
sa
thing
kanya.
about craft beer kasi and the good thing about craft beer is even it's not ano ba to? As cold as like ice, diba? Okay lang kasi the more parang mas higher temperature siya is the better kasi this is where you
Lumalabas
get
yung
the aroma
flavors. Yeah.
na lumalabas. Diba? Usually ang craft beer, ang craft beer is actually good to serve between 8 to 10 degrees. Okay?
Yeah.
So, yun.
So craft beers are not served at below zero compared to the other beers that commonly akala ng mga tao it's best drank if it's below zero, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, actually most beers.
Kasi, all right.
Yeah, go ahead. Sige,
Just
Jun.
Gabo, have you eaten?
Go, Jun.
Sige, go ahead, Fred. Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the only reason
Okay.
really na the only really reason na inom ka ng beer na gagawin mong ice cold is just to be able to get the alcohol na wala ka nang nalalasahan. That's really the bottom line.
Okay.
So kaya nga yung the hallmark of a good beer is kung maiinom mo pa rin yung beer na nasasarapan ka sa beer kahit hindi na siya malamig, ibig sabihin masarap yung beer na yun. Kasi it's like this, no? If you wanna take any beer, kahit anong beer, hindi na magsasabi ng mga pangalan ng beer, pero i-try mo yung beer na yan, inumin ng hindi na siya masyadong malamig versus yung ice cold siya na wala ka nang nalalasahan. Kung mainom mo siya yung hindi na siya masyadong malamig, ibig sabihin masarap pa rin siya. So the whole point of drinking beer is to enjoy, well, one of the main points of drinking beer is to enjoy the taste of drinking beer, to enjoy the beer itself. So if you cannot enjoy the taste of the beer pag hindi na siya ice cold, ibig sabihin there might be something wrong with that particular beer, mainly because hindi na siya masarap inumin. So the rule of thumb is as long as you can continue drinking that beer kahit hindi na siya malamig, ibig sabihin okay yung beer na yan. The beer is fine.
Pag di mo na siya mainom, when it's really warm, ang bagal mo uminom.
Yeah, yeah.
Hindi, beer lang.
Kasi, like, I mean, yung mga yung to go back to yung mga college days ko, dun ko na-realize yung mga Belgian, yung mga Tubel, yung mga Triple, yung mga Quadruple, na when you drink it in the middle of winter time na hindi na siya masyadong malamig, na para kang umiinom ng cognac, yung mga ganon, that's when you realize na, oh shucks, hindi pala kailangan malamig na malamig yung beer kasi ang dami-daming flavors pala ng beer. That's when you come to the realization na,
That's right, yeah.
okay, umiinom ka pala ng beer dahil gusto mo yung lasa ng beer. Pag umiinom ka ng beer na ayaw mo ng lasa ng beer na yan, palitan mo yung beer mo. It's as easy as that. Try a different beer.
That's right.
Find the beer you like.
Tama.
Not necessarily mine.
Fred,
That's what with craft beer, no?
Yeah.
Daming
And I
available.
think
Yeah. There's a beer and a stout for everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, June.
Are you supposed to like you're gonna expect us to finish the entire and then
Tingin ko hindi kasi kung iinom sila ng 4 in the next 15 minutes, masyado na silang lasing.
I know. dapat may ano dito check mark. Sige June, nag-start tayo sa 5.2.
No,
5.2. Ano yung next natin dito? Dalawa yung 5.4. You have session ale and you have your wheat ale. What do we do with this? Are you going to explain the difference in that?
Let's have Fred
Fred.
explain the difference between the
Fred, ikaw
styles
na yung
of what we're having.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Fred, ikaw na yung mag-dictate kung which beer and then
Sige.
Yung progression,
Ito na lang.
kumbaga.
Ganito na lang. So not forcing anyone to drink quickly. Si Kim at saka si Dina. Ako, yeah. I mean, anyways, not forcing anyone to drink quicker. Si Dina at saka si Kim, nalasan nyo na yung summer, di ba?
Okay.
Ano yung essentially yung i-preempt ko na lang yung yung sasabihin nyo. But the reason why we brew summer really is to sige, I'll ask you a question. Ano ang impression niyo sa summer ale?
For
Okay
me,
lang, don't worry. Hindi, I will not be hurt. Oh.
Mapait.
Mapait
siya.
ang summer.
Kahit nung
Okay.
nilagay ko sa glass,
Sure.
inano ko pa rin, parang mapait.
Okay.
Kasi nga
fine.
beer, I mean, expected naman. Pero, napaitan lang talaga ako.
Okay,
Yun.
that's fine. Oh,
Okay.
ikaw, Kim.
And you, Kim,
Siya nang hindi siya malamig. Pagka-deliver, ito pala, hindi ko siya nilagay sa ref. Ininom ko siya, ininom siya ngayon. Wala, light lang siya talaga. Para
Yeah.
sa akin.
Oh, actually,
Yeah.
light lang. Light.
Yes, oo, tama.
there you go.
Kasi, yeah.
Wala siyang,
okay.
hindi siya kagaya ng ibang beer na may aftertaste na, may ganun, wala siyang ganun.
Pero ikaw, Dina, napapaitan ka pa rin.
Napaitan ako eh.
Okay,
Pero
that's
yung
fine.
sa aroma, compared sa mga commercial beer, etong summer ale, wala. Wala.
Parang pawis ba ni Hyun
Kasi alam mo agad pagka yung sa aroma ng beer, ay ano yan eh, yan yung beer na yan.
Yung
Alam mo
parang
agad, kahit hindi kang
yung kasi sa Ilocano may tawag doon eh. Hindi ko alam kung ano yung pangalan niya sa Tagalog. Pero sa Ilocano ang tawag doon nasanger. Meaning parang yung amoy hindi. Yung amoy alak. Yung
Yeah.
alam mo yung tipong kung may dumaan sa harapan mo na nakainom, ano yung parang chiko.
Yeah.
Ganon
Parang
yung
you get a
sa
whiff of
Ilocano.
someone na nakainom.
Oo.
Yeah,
Sa
yeah,
Ilocano,
oo.
ang tawag doon na sanger. Malakas yung amoy na
Papaitan.
alcohol. Yeah, close enough. But so yung to go to essentially to talk about summer ale, it's really our beer to introduce yung mga hindi sanay sa umiinom ng iba-ibang klaseng beer na ay okay, yung pale pilsen, yung pale pilsen, ganito yung lasa niya. Yung San Mig Light, parang pale pilsen pero malabnaw. Etong si Summer Ale, madali siyang inumin, pero may lasa pa rin siya, pero hindi mahirap inumin. Pero for most people, for most people, ganun. Para kay Dina, mapait pa rin siya, that's fine. Okay lang. Tastes are subjective. Ganun talaga. We cannot do anything
Iba-iba rin
about that.
and levels of
Yeah.
sensitivity kasi also differs
Yes.
from person to person. No?
So,
Kasi,
medyo siguro si Dina mas
Yes.
sensitive siya sa
Dina,
mapait. Kaya
I
heightened
think-
siya.
Yep.
Yes, Jun, yeah.
Kasi, like, okay, and the beauty of this craft beer thing, di ba, is, because sa dami ng klase ng beer, like local, we're talking about local lang, So, we're over 300 beers, ba? And you're only trying one of those na beer ni Fred, diba? So, most probably, there's one in over 300 beers that is good for Dina, diba? Kung sa tingin mo na yung beer ni Fred is too bitter for you, maybe there are other beers in the market na
hindi
gusto
bitter.
mo. So all you have to do is just try, di ba? And the beauty of craft beer is like, yeah. And there are more options for you to try, di ba? Ito yun, di ba? Hindi ka lang, ayoko ng beer kasi mapait, di ba? And you have no choice kasi isa lang siya. But now, when craft beer comes in, there's so much beer that you can try, and most probably that's thing that maybe fits in your. Kung wala ka talaga doon, inom ka na lang ng tubig. Most probably, it's one thing that na mag-fit for you. Diba?
Kasi eto, ang sasabihin kong next thing, kung halimbawa kung talagang magbe-beer tasting tayo at gusto niyo mag-try ng the next thing, ang sasabihin kong next na inumin niyo, Kim at saka si Dina, yung wheat ale. Tikman niyo yung wheat ale kasi kumpara dun sa summer ale, medyo light pa rin yung lasa niya, pero ngayon may pagka-creamy at saka may pagka-citrusy na hindi nyo maintindihan na nanggagaling sa beer. Ganun ang malalasahan nyo. Supposed to be. Kung hindi, sometimes it works out that way. Pero that's yun yung sasabihin ko na kung gusto niyo tumikim ng susunod, tikman nyo na lang yung wheat ale. Yung wheat ale is light drinking, may pagka-citrusy at saka may pagka-creamy. So, if you go ahead and drink it, that's what you will taste. And you will find it most likely hindi siya masyadong mapait compared pa sa summer. Yeah. It's just the beer style. Kasi yung beer style niya is a wheat beer, more particularly humahawig siya sa mga Belgian na wheat beer, meaning mas parang mabigat siya sa bibig, tapos may konting creamy, yun yung malalasahan.
I have a question, Fred.
Yes, sure. Go.
Are the beers, beer styles, the strong ale, the wheat ale, the summer ale, will there be any, when you as a brewer, when you brew them, nagkakaroon ba ng cost factor difference kapag tumataas ang alcohol? Meaning, mas mahal ba
Yes.
pag alcohol is higher?
Yes, 100%. Okay. Sa mga craft beer, yes. The higher, actually for all beers, the higher the alcohol percentage, it means na gumagamit ka ng mas maraming raw materials. So it is natural na kung mas mataas yung alcohol content niya, dapat mas mahal yung beer.
Okay.
Ganun talaga yun. You cannot avoid it.
I can see craft beers that says that it's, yung pang barko, usually they give it for mga seaman para walang alcohol. But it's beer. But it says no alcohol.
Yeah, NAB. essentially, it's a beer that you produce that will give you the taste of beer but has no alcohol. What
Yeah, but
about it?
doesn't have alcohol. Right, right.
Yeah. What about it?
So those type of beers, I mean, those are the mas mababa ang cost production yan kasi no
Hindi.
alcohol. No, not
Hindi. Kasi you can produce beers. You can produce beers to technically, when it's a non-alcoholic beer, it's actually may alcohol siya ng konti. Pero it falls below the threshold by law that is required in order for it to be called alcoholic. So, yeah, may konting.
I see.
So, as a brewer, there are ways of
alcoholic.
Yeah, as a brewer, there are ways of brewing beer para magkalasa siya ng beer pero wala siyang alcohol. For most brewers, we don't want that. Gusto natin malasing. But there are times that that's just a fact. But there are times na you need or you want to produce a beer that has lower amounts of alcohol but has all of the taste of beer. So, yeah. It doesn't making a non-alcoholic beer essentially does not necessarily make it cheaper. It can, but it doesn't mean that it needs to be cheaper.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I have a question.
Yes. Oh, go ahead, Dina.
For craft beer, ano yung standard percentage ng alcohol?
Gino, June, you want to answer that question?
I should leave it to the brewers, no? But iba-iba yan. Actually, depending on the style. But June,
Yes,
explain mo yung usually mababang styles to going up.
Okay. Well, walang ano yan eh. There's no specific like whether higher or low alcohol. It's as Gina mentioned, it's depende sa brewers, 'di ba? Ang nagkakatalo lang yan is how the brewers design their beer itself, 'di ba?
Correct.
Kung even lighter beer, like meaning lighter the flavor pero higher alcohol, 'di ba? And then you get more aroma. So ano yan eh, nasa sa brewer. Kumbaga, imagine the brewer is chef in a restaurant, 'di ba? Ganun 'yon. Yan yung kanyang equivalent sa restaurant. So the chef is the one design or creating your food. And then your cook is the one who cooks it, 'di ba? So sa brewing side naman, meron kaming tinatawag na brew master or the brew master and the brew master who create the recipe. So yung recipe na yon depende kung sa kanya whether he will create it higher alcohol, low alcohol, more heavy flavor on the mouth, yung lasa, panlasa, or mapait. Depende. It's depends on the brewer itself. Kung titingnan niya, marami kasing factor. They will see how the market, kung ano yung market na, ano yung gusto ng market, di ba? So the brewer will create for that particular market. Or sometimes the brewer will brew based on what he wants to brew. So marami factors. So I think this is the beauty of craft beer. Wala ano yan eh, limitless, 'di ba? The brewer can create unlimited. Kung ano yung nai-imagine mo na flavor ng beer mo, kung gusto mo lagyan ng sampalok, ng guyabano or anything,
guava,
style,
passion fruit,
beer na
actually pag mga Korean
from
beer,
Great Islands. Di ba?
Yeah, hindi. Ito, sorry Jun, mag-interject ako.
Di ba? Imagine mo,
Dina,
kimchi beer?
Yan, kimchi beer. Or chocolate, spicy chocolate
Diba?
beer. Hindi, pero ito, mag-interject ako. Yung, ano kasi, Dina, yung tanong mo is very, Dina, yung tanong mo is actually very common na tied ba yung yung percentage ng alcohol sa pagka-craft? Hindi. Ito. this is more para sa akin other people might disagree with me, pero para sa akin as a craft brewer, it is called craft brewing. It is called a craft beer if the most important factor in producing the beer is A, yung flavor, at saka B, yung ingredients, meaning the quality of ingredients. If your main factor is revenue generation at saka margin, most likely hindi siya craft beer. Kasi if that is the case, ang dami-daming craft beer na magsasabi, magsasara na kami. Kasi hindi siya profitable. But so like say for example, yung summer ale namin, you tasted it, Kim. Sasabihin mo na yes, it's a little bit light tasting. Di na napaitan ka ng konti. That's fine. But the point is that yung nung kinonceptualize ko yung pag-brew ng beer na yan, I decided, okay, ano kaya ang beer style na matumbok ko yung goal ko na mapalawak yung experiences ng Pinoy. That's the first thing. What is the beer style I want? The second thing I thought is, okay, ano yung mga ingredients natin dito locally na magagamit ko in order to produce this beer style that I want. To be honest, I normally don't talk about what the beer style of summer ale is kasi maguguluhan lang ng tao like sa atin, because we're still at the beginning phases of craft beer. So I don't tell people that the name of this beer is the beer style that it is a cream ale. Why do I not tell people it is a cream ale? Kasi Kim, Dina, kung sasabihin ko sa inyo, itong beer na to, summer ale namin, cream ale ito. The first thing you will think, parang wala akong nalalasahang cream dyan.
Cream, yes.
Diba? So I don't tell people that pero, the name of the beer, sa totoo lang, wala dapat cream na lasa yan, cream ale. It's just a name. It's a cream ale. Kasi, Dina, narinig ang sarili ko, sorry. Anyway, so that's the main thing about craft. That's the main thing about craft beer. It's not hindi yung percentage of alcohol, kundi yung intention ng brewer na i-fulfill yung gusto niyang nung pananaw na mangyari dun sa beer na yun based on ingredients, lasa, hindi dun sa bottom line.
That's right. There you go.
Yeah. Kasi yun, to go back, yung strong ale namin, which I would typically tell you to drink last, 8.5% yan. 8.5% doesn't mean a lot to a lot of people. But if you say, alam mo, di ba matapang ang Dina, di ba matapang ang Red Horse?
Red Horse, yes.
Yeah, di ba? Matapang Red Horse, di ba? Ang alcohol percentage ng Red Horse is 6.9%. Hey, Ryan, ang alcohol percentage ng Red Horse is 6.9%. Pero yung strong ale namin is 8.5%. What does that mean? Sa iba, yung mga kababayan natin, sasabihin nila, uy, shit, ibig sabihin, mas matapang ito ng Red Horse. Ibig sabihin, shit, napakasama siguro ng lasa. Kasi pag tumataas yung alcohol percentage, ang hirap inumin. Pero I dare you, pumapait, whatever, I dare you anything. I-pass nyo yung session ale ko at saka yung wheat ale, buksan nyo yung strong ale, tikman nyo. Let me know the first thing that you, buksan nyo yung strong ale, taste it, kahit wag nyo inumin, the whole thing, tikman nyo na lang muna. Taste it and let me know what is the first thing you think. Ayan, naka-mute na si Dina, kinuha yung beer. Kasi Gino, yun yung perennial na problem ko dyan sa strong ale na yan.
Yeah. There's a misconception di ba? And a prejudice with regards to
correct. There's a prejudice. Yeah, there's a prejudice to high alcohol. Sige, go ahead, dude. Go.
Yung common notion natin is that the higher the alcohol is, the harder it is to drink na inumin, di ba? So that notion is actually wrong and misconstrued when it comes to craft beers. And you will be proven wrong most of the time. So there you go. Si Kim is trying it out now. She's actually doing a good thing. No? She's swirling the glass.
Yeah, oo.
I-aerate
Gaganon mo.
niya. Parang
I-rate
wine.
mo yung
Na-aerate
beer
pa.
para...
Lalabas yung aromas.
Oo.
Ayan. So, there you go. Ayan. We can get her first impression. Kasi inubos niya yung yun. That's a nice gob, Kim. There you go.
Kim, anong feedback mo?
Masarap to.
Masarap siya. At saka,
Sobrang
Belgian,
yun na.
is this Belgian style? Fred, no? Your strong ale is
Dobel.
tailored as a Dobel. A Belgian style Dobel.
Dobel, Belgian dark strong. Yeah.
That's
Ganun.
right, yeah. So, Miss Kim, ba't nakangiti ka? See? That's what beer does to you. It puts a smile on your face. Especially a good craft beer. Diba?
I think, matapang lang siyang tignan, pero matapang yung kulay, matapang yung palagay na sa bottle niya, pero napaka-smooth niyang inumin. Masarap talaga.
Ayan.
Alam mo yung tawag dyan sa atin? Tridor.
Ano po?
Pero si Miss Dina, I can't wait for Miss Dina to try hers. Yeah.
Yan, try mo yung strong ale kasi magandang yan. Wag na natin pag-usapan si session ale. Ako lang yung may gusto niyan. I'm just kidding.
Dina, you're on mute.
Yung Yun Bin beer.
Yan. Sige, Dina.
Summer ale.
Hindi siya mapait.
Okay, hindi siya
Compared to summer
mapait.
ale.
Okay, ano pa? What else?
Sige, inom pa. Inom pa.
Medyo
Sip mo na lang.
Sige. Compared sa summer ale, medyo may aroma siya ng kaunti sa akin.
Okay.
Yun. Tapos, ano pa ba?
Yeah. Sige, go ahead.
Yun lang.
Mapait ba siya?
No, compared sa summer ale. For me.
Yeah, Kasi ang sabi ni Kim, ano yung sinabi mo? Masarap?
Oo nga.
Sarap.
At saka madaling inumin.
Yes.
Dina, how about you? Madali ba siyang inumin?
Dapat
Yes,
kasi
at saka
ng pulutan para na wash yung palate nila.
Hindi, okay lang yan. Pero Dina, ito yung tanong. Madali ba siyang inumin?
Yes.
Yes.
Saka hindi siya
Pero,
yung compared sa commercial beer, hindi siya mabubbles. Tama ba? I don't know the term, pero yun.
Yeah, okay lang yan. So, yun yung point. Yun yung yes, that is a nice observation. So, Dina, yung point ko kanina nung nawala ka nung naka-mute ka. The mere fact na yung alcohol percentage na is 8.5%. At saka si Kim actually sinabi niya tinitingnan niya yung itsura, nakakatakot yung itsura, yung kulay, yung nakasulat sa lata na 8.5%. Parang intimidating yung itsura niya. But when you drink it, parang okay. Ganun pala yung lasa ng ganto. So would you think na just look, kung binasa mo lang na 8.5%, yung 8 knowing na yung Red Horse is 6.9%, at saka yan is 8.5%, would you imagine na ganyan yung lasa niya?
No. Kasi yung sa Red Horse, nung tinikmang ko, sip lang yun parang binitawan ko na agad yung glass. Kasi ayoko talaga. At saka yung naririnig ko nga na kwento ng mga friends ko na malakas ang tama talaga.
Oo, ang Red Horse din, hindi mo siya may inom ng walang yelo.
Yun, totoo yan. Kasi yung paminsan-minsan.
Actually, masarap ang Red Horse with ice. Lahat na kilala ko with ice yung Red Horse.
Yun! Tama yan. That's the only beer na talagang yung nagre-require ako na may yellow. Yun. Si Red Horse. Kasi otherwise hindi ko siya naiinom. Yeah. To be honest. So yun, Dina, Kim, just so you know, yung beer na yan, yung si strong ale na yan, yung misis ko, umiinom yan ng beer. She loves beer, just like me. Pero nung pinatikim, nung nagpo-product development ako niyan, yung beer na yan, when she tasted it, yung unang-una niyang hirit, yung parang ikaw, Kim, na sinabi mo na, uy, madali siyang inumin. Here's another question. Matamis ba siya?
Yeah, do you think there's a perception of sweetness?
May tamis ba siya?
Meron, may
Diba?
tamis siya.
Yung parang candy. Alam mo yung parang pag may candy ka sa bibig, sa dila mo, yung natutunaw na, yung ganun. You get that? You get, di ba?
Yes.
So,
that's
yun
actually, yun,
yeah.
Fred.
Go,
ahead,
Gino.
Fred, yeah.
No,
That's
you go.
characteristic nung style ng beer na yan. Since yung mga Belgian style beers were brewed using sugar sa mga in the process in their fermentation and in the brewing process. No? That's the style that it's a double. That's the style that yung Fred was going for with this one. Kung bagay yan yung interpretation ni Fred ng Belgian style double. It's the strong ale. So it's see, you guys enjoyed it, 'di ba? Parang biglang bumukas yung mata mo ulit, may bago akong discovery ngayon, 'di ba? So yung next Hyun Bin na beer may tapang na, 'di ba?
Kasi eto sasabihin ko sa inyo, Kim, Dina, after na mainom nyo itong strong ale na yan, na madali siyang inumin, may konting tamis, hindi siya mapait, ganon. If after this, tikman nyo yung session ale, mapapaitan kayo. You will drink it and go, sino may nakakagusto ng gantong klaseng beer? Sasabihin ko, si Gino, ako, tsaka si Jun. Kaming may gusto niya. Yung
Like,
No,
Fred,
no.
hindi ka gumawa ng stout, no? Like the black beer.
Yun, hindi ako gumawa ng stout. Hindi pa. I might. Pero Dina, Kim, just so you know, yung binanggit ni Cherry na stout.
Yeah.
Yun yung beer style na kung makikita mo, sobrang itim yung lasa niya, para siyang nagmumukhang kape. Kape yung itsura niya. Pag inamoy mo, amoy kape. Pag ininom mo, parang kape. Pero beer siya. So kung gusto mo yung lasa ng kape na may, 'di ba yung black coffee may pait siya. 'Di ba? Black coffee, may pait. Tayong mga Pinoy, honestly, to be frank, ang ginagawa natin sa black coffee, nilalagyan natin ng asukal at saka gatas. Bakit? Para mawala, 3-in-1, para mawala yung pait at saka maging matamis. Kasi as a culture, hindi natin naiintindihan yung mapait na may konting tamis. Gusto natin matamis o mapait. Kaya nga ako, Ilocano ako, gusto ko yung pinapaitan. Pero pag kumain ka ng pinapaitan, mapait lang siya. I mean, wala na siyang ibang flavors. As opposed to kung kumain ka ng tom yum goong sa Thai, may pait siya, parang sinigang. Pero meron din siyang tamis na nandun sa ilalim yung tamis ng tom yum goong. Pero yung sinigang natin,
may layers, 'di ba? May layers of flavor.
So tayo, ang gusto natin kung mapait siya, mapait. Kung matamis siya, matamis. Kung yung ayaw natin, yung naghahalo yung ganon. So, yun na nga yung sinasabi ko dun sa stout. Ang kagandahan as a beer style for Filipinos, kasi alam natin yung lasa ng black coffee. It's just that ang problema sa stout, kahit na alam natin yung lasa ng black coffee, marami sa atin, ayaw rin natin yung lasa ng black coffee. So, ganun ang challenges din sa stout. Kasi ako, gusto kong gumawa ng stout. Ang challenge ko as a larger producer of beer, kung gumawa naman ako ng 3,000 liters na stout, sinong iinuman? Ako lang. Oh, ito, sorry Guada
There you go.
Geraldes.
So, tamang-tama sa question mo.
Yeah. What are your challenges as a brewing company? To answer your question, yung challenges ko as a craft brewer are producing a beer that a certain amount of volume mabebenta ko siya. Di ba? Pwede naman akong mag-brew ng double IPA, pwede akong mag-brew ng IPA, pwede akong mag-brew ng chocolates, or wag naman chocolate stout. Pwede akong mag-brew ng Irish stout. Pwede akong mag-brew ng hazy IPA. Ang issue, dun sa size ng brewery namin na 3,000 liters, kung gagawa ako ng 3,000 liters na like let's say spicy chocolate stout, yung 3,000 liters na yon, siguro maubos siya in 1 year. That's just the honest truth. Masyadong matagal yung time span na gagawin yung beer tapos mabibenta ko yung beer. That's one of the challenges of being a craft brewer in the Philippines at my size. The other challenge of being a craft brewer is syempre ako, ang isa sa mga okay, I have 2 favorite beer styles in the world. Well, okay, fine. Marami akong beer styles na favorite. Pero if I had to pick, double IPA ang isa. Yung isa, Belgian style or Trappist style ale.
Okay.
Medyo
Wait.
yes,
Fred.
Jun, go.
Okay, we will educate our guests kung ano yung ibig sabihin ng style. Okay. Yung
Double IPA.
Okay. So yung mga minention ni Fred kanina, yung style is, di ba, like for example, yung San Miguel is
Brand.
yung I know. Lager
Sorry.
and Pilsner kasi yung San Miguel. Okay. So Pilsner is just one of the style. Okay, under lager na category. Okay? So yung minention kanina ni Fred na double IPA at saka Belgian double
Trappist
or
ale.
triple?
Yeah, triple, quadruple.
Triple is another style which under paano ko ba explain?
Ale under the family of ale. The family of ale.
Opposite siya ng lager.
Pero hirap
Sige, dude.
Kaya mo yan, Jun.
Ale
Okay.
Kaya mo yan.
na under siya ng kasi merong American at saka Belgian.
Huwag mo nang pahirapan. Jun, ako gagawa ng analogy.
Para
Ako gagawa ko ng analogy kasi syempre ang mga guests natin, they are all nursery knowledge when it comes to craft beer. Mga K-drama idols yan. So,
Actually, inuna ni Jun yung strong ale. Strong ale.
Wait, time. Ito, just para for the benefit yung nagtanong sa akin kasi ang tanong niya, what are the difficulties of being a brewer in the Philippines? So really, to backtrack is mainly the difficulty is paano ako how to determine what beer style, what beer to brew na magugustuhan ng Pinoy. That's really the challenge.
The main challenge for that. No?
Yeah. And of course, syempre, if I just really want to sell a beer that Filipinos like, gagawa na naman ako ng parang pale pilsen. Gusto ng Pinoy yan. So but that doesn't solve what I want. So my challenge is, how can I do what I want, but at the same time give Filipinos what they want? That's the challenge.
That's right.
That's really the challenge.
Follow up to Fred. This is a follow up to that.
Yeah. Yan, madaling sagot yan.
What is the best selling craft beer you have created?
Yun beer.
Now it's one of them, no?
Yeah, Cherry.
Hello,
To,
ma'am.
Yeah, Cherry, to answer your question, it is actually Summer Ale is our best-selling craft beer.
That's
why?
Yun beer. Yeah.
Yes, essentially, it's Yun Bin beer. Summer Ale is our best-selling craft beer because it is the type of beer that Filipinos can most relate to. And para sa akin, okay. So nabanggit ko na may challenges nga brewing beer. One of the other challenges of brewing beer is not from the commercial side. It's from the craft beer, quote unquote, purist side. So when I create a beer like Summer Ale, some craft beer purists will say, parang ano na yan masyado ng pang quote unquote, masyado ng pangmasa yan But my point is, okay, tayo as a culture, as a beer drinking culture, nandito tayo. We are drinking this. Gusto ko, my personal goal is I can move Filipinos from here to here. Yeah, that's it. From here to here. Ang ayoko, what I'm not into is I will move Filipinos from here to
Pabalik.
to here. That's not what I want. Other brewers can do that. That's fine. They can go ahead and do that. My goal is to move Filipinos from here to here. So that is what summer ale does for most of my customers is go. Eto, what is a better way for me? What is an easier way for me to say this? May mga nagfi-feedback sa akin. Uy, Fred, ang sarap nito. Parang yung commercially available pero mas masarap ng konti. Okay. Happy na ako dyan. Yan lang ang habol ka dyan sa summer ale na yan. When people can tell me it's like a beer that I love, but it's better. That's it. They're already telling me that they love something and then my beer tastes better than that. There's no other compliment for me. Okay na sa akin yan.
There you go. So, do you have other questions, guys? Whoever is still
Anybody else wanna ask questions?
Ano na
beer
po ba
related.
to?
Yeah, go.
Na bebenta na siya commercially. Hindi pa
Well,
naman.
hindi. What do you mean by commercially? Like sa supermarket?
Yeah.
Distributed, you mean? Kumbaga? No?
Yes.
Distributed.
Opo. Ay, oo.
Well,
Yes.
hindi. So far, we are, we're working on it, pero available siya online. Mabibili mo siya
okay.
mabibili mo siya sa Shopee, actually.
Yeah, most recently, no, sa Shopee. I saw that post of yours.
Yeah, mabibili mo siya sa Shopee, tapos sa 12.12 meron kaming free shipping for our beer.
There you go.
Yeah. So, yun. Buy it.
Okay.
They actually, ito, sasabihin ko about Shopee and saka yung online portal namin. Kung gusto niyo mabilis na dumating yung beer, like let's say the same day or maybe tomorrow, orderin niyo yan sa portal namin. Pero, Jun, kung gusto niyo, kung hindi naman kayo nagmamadali, orderin niyo sa Shopee. Buy it on Shopee. It'll take 2 to 3 days. Darating yan. And the shipping is cheaper. Magically.
Wow.
Yeah. Ay, ito. Little bit of trivia about yung Shopee namin. Tinesting ko siya. Tinesting ko yung Shopee. Umabot. Meron akong pinsan, dyan. May pinsan ako sa Zamboanga City. Umabot yung beer namin sa Zamboanga City.
Wow.
And do you know how long it took to get to Zamboanga City? 4 days. 4 days. And do you know how much it...
Pero dumating, di ba?
A, dumating. B,
Most important
alam mo kung magkano yung cost niya dumating sa Zamboanga City?
Magkano shipment niya?
160 pesos.
Oh,
Mas mura,
parang-
mas
Mas
mura
mura
pa
pa
yun
yan.
kesa nagpadala ako sa Paranaque.
Tama. That's true.
Speaking of
So-
Zamboanga, may mga nanonood tayong mga fans na kung saang-saang parte ng Pilipinas at ng buong mundo.
Ayan talaga, Miss Cherry. Ayan.
Yeah.
We have, of course,
Baka sa Korea meron.
Yeah. Heidi is from Batangas. Mary is from Zamboanga. Sheila is from Hong Kong. Cherry is from Iloilo. Mabs is in Manila.
Ayan.
Uy, yun, ang
Miss
layo
Cherry
na.
actually has a question.
Mariel
For,
is
yan.
from Makati. O yan. Diba? Very supportive yan sa inyo. Pinapanood ko yung doon kahit di nakakaintindi ng beer. Nandiyan
Ayan.
sila.
Ito. Pasagutin natin yung guest natin. Ano ang sweet na beer?
Si Yunbin. Sino pa ba?
Sus, wag ka naman ganyan. Alam natin na sobrang sweet si
Sila pa
Vincent.
sagutin mo.
Yung sweet na beer tinatanong lang in particular is
yeah.
the one that you enjoyed, Kim. Ano yun? Ano pangalan nun, Kim?
Strong ale.
Ayan. Pakita mo yung can. There you go. Ayan.
Yan. Oh,
Ang ganda naman ang label ni Sir Fred. No? A follow-up question?
Ayan. How long is
There
your
you go.
beer shelf life? Okay. Generally speaking, from the time na ilagay namin sa lata, it will be 6 months. Yeah. So that's the shelf life of beer. But
There you go. 6
other
months,
questions, like let's say, how do you think you can achieve your goal of getting the 1% of market without sacrificing the artisanal quality of beer, of craft beer? Actually,
nice question.
yeah, that's a nice question, Guada. Actually, the answer is simple, and that goes for all craft brewers.
There
Stick
you
to
go.
your guns. Stick to your guns. Remain with the quality that you know. Learn how to market your beer, and the 1% will come. That's just natural.
Tama.
You don't need to sacrifice the quality of your beer in order to get more sales. What you need to do is to sell your beer better. You don't need to. I'll be honest, hindi ako marketer. I am a great brewer. I am a good lawyer. Sorry, and the ranking of what I can do in life. I am a great brewer. I am a good lawyer. I am a crappy marketer. But even with my crappy marketing, meron pa rin ako nabibentang beer. Why? Kasi masarap siya. That's it. So how do you achieve 1%? Be a better marketer. You don't need to like, okay, instead of like etong 90-minute hop schedule, gagawin ko na siyang hybrid three-stage hopping with a dry hop after the 4th day. Wag ka na dyan. Just make a beer that tastes great. Tapos i-market mo siya. That is the key to getting 1%.
There you go.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Ayan. Ayan, Miss
Sell your
Cherry,
beer.
baka you wanna... Anything else? June is having internet
June is
difficulty.
frozen.
Technical.
Internet difficulty. Technical.
But you know what, Gino? I think our two friends, Dina and Kim, it's a lot of things. Di ba guys, may natutunan naman kayo or
Yes.
tayo.
Oo, I'm pretty sure with the
Ang
smile on
dami.
their faces, parang meron silang na-discover na bagong
I know. Alam mo,
Pagkakatuwan. And to share, diba? To share with other friends.
yeah, our community is basically totally different from your brewer or the drinking community. But one thing that had this chance para makapag-chat tayo is because of the product nga that was created for our idol. And happy
Yeah,
rin
that's right.
kasi lumalaki din yung knowledge natin. After all, these are Filipino-made products. And we're proud Filipino fans of Yunbin.
Yes. Well, actually, we have may similarity naman eh. Sa fan club nyo, you talk about yung bin, di ba? Sa beer club naman, we talk about beer. So,
Right.
pareho lang yun.
You're
Yeah.
just like it's basically enthusiasm.
Yeah, it's the same ano eh.
Right.
Kumbaga, we're passionate for one thing, though different, but there's one common denominator, which is passion for us to share what we love, di ba?
Yep.
You agree?
Yan, nandun yung fusion nating dalawa as a community of fangirls and as a community of like guys like you who drinks.
Sige, manonood na ako ng Chloe mamaya.
Yay! Yeah.
Yun.
Sabi ko, ha? Friend,
Ang mga-
Christmas party kami. Makatatawagan ka ng mga officers namin. Lagot ka.
Yun. Yeah, sige. Oh.
Pasok natin sa isang June, ha?
Hmm.
There's 2 Junes. Ayan.
Ayan na
June?
naman. Oh, yan si
You know
June.
what? June,
Pero
next
nakamute si June.
Why is June muted?
June's internet. But June, if you're hearing
Yeah,
us,
June.
thanks a lot for having the Hyunbin
Yeah.
community
Yes, thank you.
part
Thank
of
you.
the show.
Yeah.
And
I
more
was
power-
telling June, mukhang malaki yung bandwidth. Ngayon lang kami nagka-guest ng 6 tayo sa isang screen eh. Hindi kinakaya ng Philippine internet.
Kung alam mo, kung napaaga-aga ang
Makinang
scope
interwebs.
natin. Oo nga eh, kung napaaga to, mas maganda view ko. Hindi ako paikot-ikot sa loob ng club. Ano ba to?
Next time, bigyan mo sila ng beer. Ayan. Para they will let you be. Oh.
Mhm.
Ayan. So, June, to wrap
well.
up, do you want to add anything?
No,
Are you
I
there?
mean,
Can you hear us?
yeah. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes.
Fred, anything to say for your final thoughts
Sure.
or anything?
Yeah, unfortunately, marami akong thoughts. But what I will say is this. I'm thankful. I'm thankful for the opportunity to be on your show. One, two, to help spread the gospel of good beer. And 3, just to be able to share yung thoughts ko about craft beer, what the industry needs to do, and how we can better serve our market. Kasi at the end of the day, whether it's craft beer fanatics that we're trying to cater to, or it's a wider market that is trying to get into craft beer or other beer styles, we're all just trying to do the best that we can. So, let's all move forward. Times are tough. Let's all support each other, and for the folks who are listening, buy more beer, drink our beer. We'll be around.
That's right. And to add to that, no, I am sure everyone will agree. We can feel in how Sir Fred, yung passion talaga niya in brewing and creating these beers and these brews for us to enjoy is umaabot sa buong Pilipinas sa lahat ng kasama natin na nag-join in sa show ngayon tonight. So thank you everyone.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
From there, we'll say goodbye and thanks for joining us.
Thank you,
Till the
Cherry.
next one.
Thank you, Dina.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, Kim.
Bye.
Huh?
Bye.
Good night. Thank you. Gino. Thank you.
Yo. All right.
Fred.
Bye, guys.
Thank you again.
Thanks, Fred. Thank you, Sir Fred.
Thank you.
I'll see you soon, buddy.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Sarang